All right, so we just wrapped up the evaluation template, being able to, again, copy and paste a certain set of text, and then being able to, as a kiddo is talking, being able to copy and paste that blank rubric into the private comment section on Google Classroom, just to be able to give them instant feedback as they're presenting something verbally. The next kind of element that we can utilize and make sure we can easily assess where they are is to be able to utilize the comment bank. So if you are, for example, grading something in the writing section, so here's an essay that I'm grading for a kiddo. Instead of me typing in when I'm giving comments, I could type in the same thing all day long. I can use instead this comment bank. And here I can put in some pretty elaborate wording of, I can give a lot of explanations and examples of what to do differently in these certain places. And then all I can do is simply, I can just copy it and I can click on wherever I see that issue and I can very simply paste it at that point. So being able to utilize that comment bank is just a really quick and easy way to give them really great feedback, but without maybe writing each one uniquely for each student. Another one we can do is we can easily assign tasks to only certain students. So if we're creating a new assignment in Google Classroom, we don't have to assign it to all students all the time. We can assign it to just one or two or to a certain group. And that just gives us a really quick and easy way to differentiate for students. So if not every student needs that certain task, we don't have to give every student that particular task. The next section is keeping our classroom clear and concise. So we can use our PDFs and go formative with Actively Learn. We can code with emojis, and we talked about that a little bit earlier. We can schedule and reuse assignments, and we can also utilize a Seesaw here, and that could be another great way to utilize something that you're already kind of doing in Seesaw, and you can link it onto Google Classroom. So I want to talk a little bit about Go Formative and Actively Learn as a place where you can better utilize PDFs. So if you're uploading PDFs, both of these platforms let you upload a certain amount of PDFs and their free programs every month. And then I believe once you do the paid version, or you can get somebody to pay, Rick or somebody else, Ryan, Brett, to pay for the paid version, then you can upload unlimited PDFs. And they're both really great in the sense of PDF answering software, in the sense that the questions, like if you want them to answer a certain question at the top of the paper, you can really quickly put the number 1 and it will pop up with a place for them to type for that particular spot. So if you haven't looked at Go Formative and Actively Learn, I personally think they have something better than Kami personally has to offer. But I haven't played with the ins and outs of Kami. I feel like I only end up hearing some of the horror stories of Kami. So if you're really comfortable with Kami and you've had no problems, that's great. If you have heard a couple, check out Go Formative and Actively Learn. If you have some PDFs that you want the kids to work on, both link with Google Classroom so the kids don't have to have a unique sign-on, and both are just really great PDF answering platforms. Coding with emojis. I had a couple people say they weren't still comfortable with this idea. So if you haven't seen, Emojipedia, and I did show you in part 2, I believe I talked about this a little bit. But this is just a place where we can have these little emojis, again, to kind of code. So if we're doing an Edgenuity assignment, then you're going to pick a little computer. If you're doing a self-assessment, you're thinking have a question face. An essay has a little paper and pencil. So whatever you want to use there, just a way to quickly and visually code for students so they can anticipate what they're working on that day. Scheduling and reusing assignments. So again, built-in features. So if you're creating a new assignment, I'll first talk about reusing. Let's say you have one from years prior that you want to reuse. Let's say you have one from a different Google Classroom that you want to post again. Or let's say you're creating a similar assignment for 4 different groups of kids where all you're changing is the document that's attached. This is going to be a really great way to kind of do that. So instead of creating it brand new each time, you can pull in these particular assignments, hit reuse, change what you need to change, and that saves you some time and energy. And the other one being to, I lost my spot. Oh, to be able to schedule assignments. So if you're creating an assignment, you also don't have to post it immediately. So if I'm going to, put together some kind of assignment, instead of clicking assign, I can click schedule. And that I could tell, the program to say, don't post this until noon on Friday. So I don't have the kids in it too early if I don't want them in it too early that particular day. Let's go to that one. Back into lastly Seesaw. So our last idea is that if you are utilizing Seesaw, and I think you all know, I would imagine you know that I am not the most familiar with Seesaw, just being in high school background, but I have read and I have found some articles that we can very easily link Seesaw assignments onto Google Classroom so that you can still have your assignments structured in a very similar way as the kiddos are used to. So you can still create an assignment, and then what you can do is you can simply add a link to Seesaw. And that's going to be a great way to kind of give them that context.